Welcome back. You're watching Editors Roundtable, and joining us now on the show is Andrew Holland, CEO of Avendus Alternate Strategies. Andrew, good evening. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's been a strong rally for the market, right? We saw some profit taking today, but even then, the markets look too hot, right? What's your view now, and how are you positioned in the market?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's too hot, but I certainly think there's a lot of complacency, not just for our market, Anuj, but I think globally. I think our base case has been, as you know, is for interest rates to fall globally, towards the back end of the year, and maybe that's been pushed back a quarter. But if it's been pushed back a quarter, I would have thought the markets would have reacted to that globally, but they haven't. So I just feel this whole, it doesn't matter because the economy is growing, so therefore we're not going into recession. It's a bit too Goldilocks for my liking. And also the fact that, with the rate increases, you got to ask yourself, how far are these central banks going to go? We know, in the European Union, the European Union is going to increase rates. UK is going to increase rates. I've seen figures there of 7%. For the US, it's going to be possibly 2 more rate hikes. So, until this data starts, pleasing them, then, I just don't know how much damage they're going to do to the economy once we the dust settles. So I'm just worried about complacency, that everything works out to be so great that markets can just shrug it off. And I'm still of the view that the 7 or 8 stocks or 7 stocks which are moving the markets in the US, if they falter, then there's nothing really to kind of hold up the rest of the market, the broader market, because industrial data and manufacturing is looking so poor. There's definitely a recession there.
Hi, Andrew. Nigel here. Andrew, I wanted to ask you about the two-wheeler space. How are you all viewing it here in India? I mean, as consumers or as clients, we are very happy. Anuj just broke news to us that he's bought a new Harley Davidson. But clearly, the 2 new players, that's Hero as well as Bajaj, they're going to give the Royal Enfield a run for its money. So how will you view the two-wheeler space, particularly Eicher Motors?
Yeah, I mean, it's become a consensus view now, right? Is that, the competition for Eicher will be so significant that, and the valuations that the price would have to kind of come down. That's what I've seen throughout all of this week since the announcement was made. Maybe it's going to be a little bit like the top end of the market, a little bit like what we've seen in the telecom market. Everyone's going to fight for market share, and in that no one becomes a winner. I mean, yes, there will be winners in terms of market share, but maybe the profitability of gaining that market share won't show up for a number of years. So it's going to be highly competitive at that end, and I think everyone's going to have I think the jury's still out on who's going to win now. If Anuj is putting his backing, Harley, then I think you probably have your own answer to who's going to be the winner.
No, I think that's more of a personal choice, Andrew, more than anything else. Just a childhood dream, perhaps, or collegehood dream to just, buy a Harley. Yeah, to ride a Harley and doing that. That's it, I guess.
Nimesh, are you going in for it?
No, yeah. I'm done with my biking. Whatever I had to do, I'm done with. I had a minor accident, and then I'm like, now I can't.
No bikes.
So no biking. Not allowed.
Andrew, oil marketing companies have seen a fantastic rally over the last couple of months, and we've been talking about how this time the marketing margins are going to look very good, and Q1 is going to be an exceptionally strong quarter for these oil marketing companies. Have you participated in the up move, and now how do you feel about it?
No, actually, we didn't participate in the up move. I think it came very quickly. It came out of nowhere, really. Not as though people have been talking about it for so long. So I think it's just one of those, again, rotations within sectors. There's a good story behind it, and it played out very well. So I think it's probably run its course. But I must say we haven't really played into this rally. So good luck to those who did.
Okay, now let's do one thing. Let's talk about the sector that will be in spotlight starting next week. On the 12th, we have numbers from HCL Tech and TCS, and the day after is Wipro's turn, and of course after that Infosys, and then the all mid-cap IT ones. But Reema, why don't you talk about what's happening and what to watch out for? in terms of the numbers?
Well, I think it's a consensus and it's a given that Q1 is going to be very weak and subdued for the IT companies, and Q2 is also going to be low. I think that's priced in. But where there is still some amount of debate is H2 of FY24 and FY25. Are we going to see a rebound? There are many brokerages like Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Jefferies, who believe the current consensus expectations for this year and next year are on the higher side and will have to be brought down starting the current quarter. Also, especially since these stocks have seen a very strong rally. If you could just get that played up, and you would see large cap IT names have seen a rally of going up to 15%, and some of the mid cap IT names like Cyient, Birlasoft, from their post Q4 lows, these stocks have seen a rally of 35 to 38%. In fact, names like Tech Mahindra, HCL Tech, Birlasoft are very close to their 52-week highs, just about 2 to 3% away from that. So the bears in the camp believe that this rally that we've seen in the last 2 or 3 months is not backed by fundamentals. The demand environment is still very weak, and we will see earnings downgrades. But then there is also another segment in the market who believe that the deceleration in revenue has been priced in, and the deal wins announced by the companies have been strong, even in the current quarter. You've got TCS, which has announced a $1.8 billion BSNL deal. There has been a Phoenix deal, a Morgan Stanley deal. Infosys announced a very large deal with a Nordic bank. So they're saying that the strong deal wins will fuel a rally or fuel a pickup in earnings in H2 and FY25. And plus, there is a bit of a tactical trade. So many people in the market were saying that, valuations have run up in all sectors barring the IT space. So if you want to put your money to use, maybe there is some tactical comfort in putting it in the IT patch, just because the valuations are not as expensive as it is in some of the other pockets of the market. So Andrew, I take the point that, the first half, the next couple of quarters is still going to be very weak. But is there a tactical play for IT now?
See, the tactical play is, I remember us talking about it last time as well, was that, is whether you believed interest rates were going to fall in the US towards the back end of the year, which would play out for the tech companies. Now, tech companies have played out, but now we're going to see rate increases. So I suspect, whether you did it now or you did it near September, when, you could see more kind of a better runway for the Fed, then that was the time to be buying, because the downgrades will be maybe another 5, 6, 7% from where we are today, and that was being factored in over a month ago. So it's really your timing. So I think the timing is probably kind of left you a little bit in terms of getting the bottom of the stocks. But I would say that earnings downgrades are first to happen, and then it's your view on where the Fed's going to be. Because if the Fed's going to raise rates, then I think the tech companies in the US at some point will have to fall, and that will have a kind of a headwind on our IT sector as well, because it'll all be negative news.
Okay, Andrew, last question then, the football season starts very soon. Do we have a bit of a turnaround, or is this going to be the City juggernaut which will keep rolling?
Yeah, well, it's disappointing end with City winning the treble. I mean, I know they're from Manchester, so I should be happy in that it's from Manchester. But I'm just hoping now that we can sign a centre forward, Anuj, so we can actually score a lot more goals than we did last year and put some pressure on the top teams. But so far, it's been slightly disappointing in terms of the transfer news, to be honest.
Oh, absolutely. And even the sales saga, right? That has also not been too good, or at least the last on that has not been said yet. Andrew, have a good weekend, and thank you so much for joining us today.
But both you guys played tennis.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew, for joining in. Nigel, Anuj, both of you all play tennis. Are you all tracking Wimbledon?
This weekend, right? A couple of good games coming up, I think so. So
you stopped watching because Nadal's not playing.
Yeah, I mean, you could make that out. Yeah, but you know what, Rafa, in any way, next year is going to be his last year. He's already said that, I think. So anyway, I plan to perhaps, hopefully, go and watch French Open.
Wow.
But I mean, after that, I'll have to obviously find someone else. But obviously, I'll never be able to like someone as much as I've liked Rafa. But we'll find new heroes. That always happens.
What about you, Nigel?
There's also the Ashes test that's going to be there, right? Yeah. So that's shaping up quite well, because England is trying to fight back, but even right now they're 5 wickets down. and they're two tests down to Australia.
Baseball is gone for a toss, especially against good team. But what weekend plans, Nimesh?
No weekend plans, Anuj. Just bit relax. I'll call few
Take it
people.
easy. Good weather.
Enjoy the rains.
I'll have to plan for next week's dealing chatter as well. So, I mean, just simply relax and enjoy the rains as well. It's
Good
a
weather.
good
Yeah,
weather.
good
So
Absolutely.
I can have a nice drink in my terrace as well. So I'll enjoy that.
Lovely.
It's been a tough week. So, guys, I hope you enjoy your weekend. We're going to wrap up on this edition of Editors Roundtable. Thank you very much.